it's Sam Frost here, and in today's video I want to give you a really quick piece of advice for improving the performance of your ads. So something that I tended to find is when businesses look to start up digital advertising, they'll always want to sort of jump to going nationwide, unless you've got a very much geo-restricted business. So you're a plumber based in Auckland and you only service certain areas of Auckland. Well, in that case your ads are naturally going to stay hopefully stay in the Auckland area. But what about if you've got, say, an e-commerce business or a physical business, you're expanding into e-commerce, or you're starting to expand nationwide with sort of a wider digital presence? The temptation's always there to say, hey, we're based in Christchurch, or we're based in Auckland, or we're based in New York, or wherever, but what we're going to do is we're going to actually go and advertise nationwide. Now this can be really effective, and obviously you're going to amplify your message across the whole area you're looking to target, whether it's just a specific country or a state or a region or whatever it is. But one thing that I've found time and time again is that if you have some local presence in an area, you'll often get a lot better performance there to start with, because there's a bit of sort of inherent built-up brand awareness. So I was reviewing some numbers with a client the other day, and they're basically a Christchurch-based business that started selling online nationwide throughout New Zealand. And what was really fascinating was that they're looking at the Google Ads reports, the performance they're getting from Christchurch, there was only a relatively small proportion of the number of impressions and clicks they were getting, but it was completely overrepresented in terms of the amount of conversions and conversion value that they were getting. And so really, I believe what was happening here is that this business has a bit of presence in the local Christchurch market. People are aware of the brand to some extent, at least people in the target market. They might have driven past the showroom, they might have seen something advertised in the local paper, whatever it is. And so they are more likely to purchase from that brand because they've got that sort of local experience of it. Now, what's this got to do with digital advertising? Well, really the key point here is to say, hey, have you exhausted that local well of potential business before you expand further? So if you're based in Christchurch, have you done as much as you can to get more business in that Christchurch area, where you're probably going to convert better than you would do if you went straight to advertising nationwide throughout New Zealand? Same sort of thing would apply in the United States. Maybe you just want to advertise in your local state where you've got a bit of a presence and recognition, or even just your local city or town, or you can go to quite a low level sort of in terms of geographic specificity with this as well. I might not necessarily suggest going down to the local zip code or postcode where you live or where you operate, but certainly think about, do you need to jump straight to advertising nationwide? Obviously, it's great to do that if you've got the budget to support it and if it works out nicely for you. But if you're on a limited budget, if you're just sort of testing the waters with paid digital advertising, maybe you are better to actually say, hey, I'm going to focus on this local area where my business has started to develop a bit of recognition and a bit of following. I'll push there first, and then I'll look to go online. And the thing is, I've seen this work nicely for clients in multiple different industries, different locations, different business models, like e-commerce, for example, where they've had a conventional retail presence and then started to sell online. Even though someone in the north of New Zealand, right up the very tip of the country, can purchase just as easily as someone located over the road from the retail store, that person who's over the road, because they've seen that brand around, they might not remember it particularly well, but it does ring a bell, or maybe they know someone who's used the product or who had good experience in the store, they're more likely to purchase. And so until that well of potential business is kind of run dry in that local area, maybe you are better off to focus in a more kind of precise area with your digital advertising on Google Ads and Facebook ads and so on, simply because what that's going to allow you to do is get better penetration, better sort of depth with your advertising. It's going to basically cover more people within your target area rather than being spread out. So think of a piece of toast, for example. If you've only got a certain amount of jam or butter or whatever you're putting on that toast, if the piece of bread gets bigger, there's not going to be so much honey or jam or marmalade spread on top of it. It's going to be quite a thin spread. Same with your advertising. If you've only got a limited budget, maybe you are better off to focus on a smaller area, get a greater depth of sort of penetration with that advertising into your target audience, and you can get some better performance out of that, not to mention generally better conversions as well. So yeah, hopefully you find that helpful. If you're stuck, please do let me know. You can leave a comment below. You can email me on info@samfrost.co.nz. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.